Alright, so I'm Josh, I'm your sports psychologist.
Nice to meet you.
Harry, isn't it?
Yeah, Harry, yeah.
So today you've come to see me about your issues with concentration, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Yeah. So what sport is it you play?
I play football.
Football.
Yeah.
And what position is it? You attacking defender?
Striker, yeah.
A striker, so it's attacking player.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your reasons for your lacking concentration? Do you feel like when did this start? Is this a recent thing or has it been happening for a while?
I think it's been happening for a while, to be honest. It's been quite a big issue for me and my performance as well. I don't know, sometimes during a game I just would be constantly focused and then suddenly my concentration levels would just drop and it would stay like that for quite a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure, it's just becoming a big problem really.
So is it like sort of mid-game before, like early in the game?
I'd say during the game mainly. Sometimes before the game, but mainly during the game. I find it hard to focus in.
So more towards the end of the game? Or
yeah.
More towards the end?
Well, no, the whole game really.
The whole game,
like,
okay.
There's a lot of external distractions I find.
Alright, that's something we can work on then.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I can lose
and all affects
focus
your
on.
concentration.
Yeah, I find it hard to just concentrate on my own plan, if you get me.
Okay, we can work on some of that later in the session. So firstly, concentration, which is the whole issue, is around. It's defined by Moran, 2004, as concentration refers to a person's ability to exert deliberate mental effort on what is most important in any given situation.
Okay.
So like you're saying, your concentration is being diverted from what's important in football to other things maybe going on later or elsewhere in the game.
It might even be something in my head that's stopping me from concentrating.
Yeah.
So it could be anything. It could be I don't know.
Okay. Well, we can look at that. So one of the main areas we want to look at is attentional focuses.
Okay.
So what is attentional focus, you might ask? Well, it's basically concentration, but it's applied in different ways that are relevant to your sport. So that's where the attentional focus comes from. For example, Nedifer and Seagull, 2001, say that their theory of views and attentional focuses focus in two dimensions, so the width and direction of your focus. So we've got broad, we've got narrow, we've got internal and external. So a broad focus allows a person to recognise several occurrences simultaneously, so it's like a rapid view of the environment. So like on the football pitch, it's rapidly changing, isn't it? So when you're dribbling with the ball, positions of the opposition will change quickly, so with your team, every time you receive the ball. So that would be an example of like a broad focus. And it would probably happen without you thinking, it'd be rapid. A narrow focus, so this occurs when you respond to only one or two cues. So for example, like a throw, you'd focus on the thrower of the ball, and also the positioning of yourself, you might just focus on those two things. Then you've got internal, so this is directed inwards towards your own thoughts and feelings, which you mentioned about, that affects you. So an example is like a penalty kick or a free kick, where you might take a breath before you take your run up. It's like a mental rehearsal just to control your mental state, and then also increase your confidence. You've also got external, so this directs the attention of your focus to an outward source, such as an object, for example like football, maybe an opponent if you're dribbling at a defender one-on-one. You might just be focusing on the ball and the player. Whereas when you're getting distracted, you might be thinking about all different other things as well. I don't know what sort of environment you plan. Is it like park fields or is it cordoned off fields? Or
well, I play both. I play 11-a-side and 5-a-side.
Okay. Well, if you look at
5-a-side is obviously a 3G pitch from
Yes,
Astra, and then when I play 11-a-side, it's it is kind of.
So what you're sort of distracted?
Cordoned off,
like there's a border around the pitch or something.
Oh no, it's open.
Okay. So you get people walking dogs, for example.
Trying to
things like that.
Take your eye off the ball and stuff.
And like kids playing as well, might be playing like cricket or something in the background.
Just things shouting around.
Yeah. So that's all distractors, okay. So this takes us on to our attentional problems. So again, our distractors, which we've just mentioned. So these here we've got internal distractors. So these are distractors that come from within, such as our thoughts, worries, and concerns. So this applies to you, like you said. And interviews carried out by Jackson in 1995 with elite athletes showed that worries and irrelevant thoughts can cause athletes to lose concentration. So it just shows how, in your case, how it's affecting your game. What have we also got? So we've got attending to past and future events as well, which is another attentional distractor. So what this means is we can look at past events. So for example, you can make a bad mistake early in the game, and you'll be looking backwards on that previous event all throughout the game. So this will affect your confidence further in the game. So we can look at strategies later to help prevent this. But already from 1994, an Olympic gold medalist in gymnastics said, if you have a bad routine, just go out and do the next one and pretend the next one is the first of the day. So it's basically saying, if you make a mistake, don't let it hurt your confidence. Your next pass or dribble is going to be your first one, and then you're going to do it right. Is basically what it's saying. Does that apply to you? Do you sometimes make a mistake?
Yeah, definitely. I think
it helps you through the whole of the game.
Yeah, I feel like if I've made a mistake in the game, it might affect my next, like for example, my shot or something like that in football. Yeah, I need to find a way to clear that.
Yeah, well, we can look at strategies to help that further on in the session. Also, just looked at past, we can also look at future events. So, for example, looking at an event in the form of like fortune telling in a way. It's like worrying or thinking about the outcome of a future event rather than what you must do in the now to be successful. So in your game, you might be worrying about scoring a goal or making sure all your passes are right. So rather than thinking that, or maybe even thinking I must win the game. Like if you're 2-1 down, your concentration might be lost because you're not winning the game. So you're not achieving, so your confidence is knocked from it. What else have we got? Yeah, or even down to thinking about like college work or what you're doing that evening can also distract you. Is that something that
definitely. Other factors would affect my concentration. I'll think about like, I don't know, think about an assignment that's due in, or I don't know.
And you'll think about that during the game, which affects me.
Or maybe if my family are watching, I don't care what they think.
Yeah, other people.
Might make me look at them and think, oh.
Coaches or just sort of parents?
Oh yeah, coaches as well, because you don't know if you're going to not be played the next game.
Yeah.
So like, just these little things can take you off concentration massively. But yeah.
Okay. And then we've got choking. So, have you heard of choking before?
No, what is it?
Well, choking is. Where is it? There it is. So, it's emotional factors such as pressure in sport and competition can cause us to choke. So, let me do that. So, for example, tennis star John McEnroe, he said that choking is part of sport. There's nothing we can do. But being a champion is about being able to cope with it better than everyone else. So, for example, we can have something that's subjective, like we've missed a penalty kick. Some people could say that's choking, or it could be that you're not very good at taking penalty kicks. But that could be an example of choking. Or, like you mentioned, even a mistake early in a game could be choking. You could not have might not have the confidence at the start of the game to maybe you make a horrendous shot and it goes miles wide, and that could make you choke for the rest of the game then, affect your confidence. Do you feel like you're affected by choking or?
Not greatly compared to the other ones. I feel like if I'm ahead quite a lot, like in a good lead, or I feel like I'm going to win, I don't think that affects me. But,
okay. Well, we can focus on the other ones.
But then, I think it can affect me in some way.
Okay.
What was it down to? Just pressure of missing a shot? What were you saying?
Yeah, so it's the pressure of competition can cause you to choke.
Yeah, I definitely get pressured by competition.
But not so much.
But not so much to make me choke.
That's fine.
I feel like if we're winning and that, I'm more having a good vibe. So like I'm less
Yeah.
likely to choke. More likely to choke if I was losing. If you know what I mean.
We can focus on maybe the past and future events more
Yeah.
with the internal distractors as well. Then
Yeah.
we've also got paralysis by analysis. So this is like over analyzing your game. So skills you know, like shooting for example, which is second nature. You don't when you take a shot, you don't even think about it. When you overanalyze, you'll be overthinking that skill that you know. You've done it hundreds of times. So you're thinking too much about the body mechanics, movements, whereas it should be instinct. Yeah, and that can be linked to choking. So is that something, when you take a shot in football, do you sometimes overthink?
Yeah, I do think.
You do overthink? And that usually
Because you
results
feel like
in
you want to perfect the movement
technique.
or the shot, or technique. And if you think about it too much, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes if I think about it, it does work, but I would
You
like it
prefer
to come
just,
more naturally.
Yeah, because that can be helpful if it's just instinct. So being concentrated can help that, rather than focusing on that distractor. So you can look at again some methods to help you with that. But we related that to shooting in football, which is relevant for you.
I do think I think about things too much when I'm actually playing the game.
Yeah.
So that might be a factor, yeah.
Okay. Well, we can definitely look at that. So some of the methods I've got here to influence your concentration levels. I've got two methods. And the first one's self-talk, and the second is pre-performance routines. So with self-talk, I've used Mike's theory of 1987. So we want to keep phrases short and specific. We want to use the first person and present tense, and we want you to speak kindly to yourself. We don't want any negativity, and we want you to repeat the phrases often. So we can link this to keywords in the form of thought stopping as well. So for example, thought stopping is identifying any undesirable thoughts, and then we use a keyword, maybe just as easily as stop, just to clear your mind and remain present, focused and concentrated in the game. So is there something we could do to help you? Is there thoughts you have in a game that distract you, and maybe we could make like a little keyword up just to help?
Yeah, I think a keyword would help.
Yeah. So what sort of things do you think?
There's a lot of things I think about, like we were saying.
Really?
Well, like anything really. Could think about what was distracting me. Think about how I was going to take the shot, or just the pressure of what the coach thinks.
So maybe as soon as one of those thoughts comes into your head, you could just
maybe
say,
a word could stop it all.
Stop, and then just maybe think to yourself, I'm confident, I know what I'm doing. Like something as easy as that, short, sharp. Just keep repeating it like that theory states, and that can help to improve your confidence. We've also got establishing pre-performance routines. So this could be done before your competition, so before your game, like the night before, or even hours before. Can even be done during breaks in play, for example, like half-time. If you find that you lose concentration in the second half, create a pre-performance routine for half-time to help your concentration. So research by Farrow and Kemp 2003 found that the shorter the time of the routine, the more successful the performance was. So that's something to consider when we're building your pre-performance routine. When do you think would be best to implement it? Maybe when would you lose concentration? When would be best? Before a game, mid-game?
No, I think I'm quite hyped before a game.
Okay.
I think like, yes, I can do this before a game. And when it gets to it, face reality, it's more like, okay, I'm thinking about this too much and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it affects me mid-game. Yeah, maybe just the whole game.
That's fine. So maybe implementing one at half-time then.
Yeah.
Could benefit you. So we could look at just focusing on, you could jog into the change room to build up your know that you're getting in the zone. You're going into the change room, which is going to be your place of recollecting your thoughts. You're going to focus in the changing room. Going to focus on what the manager's saying. Just really think about everything in the game, what you've done well, maybe, and then Even like taking off a shin pad, for example, take off a shin pad, tape it back up and put it back on could be a pre-performance that like is a restart, if you know what I mean. That could help. So we could implement things like that, which might help you.
Yeah.
Then we've also got exercises to help improve your concentration. So we can look at 2 ways here, which I've got. So the first way is shifting attention, and the second is learning to maintain focus. So over time we can practice this and hopefully improve your concentration. So we can practice this now with shifting attention. So if you sit as you are in a comfortable position, close your eyes and just pay attention to what you can hear in the room. Focus on like any voices, footsteps, any noises you can hear. And then become aware of your body sensation. So what can you feel? Do you feel the floor, the chair? What can you feel? And then turn your attention to your thoughts and emotions. So just let them arise. Don't think of anything specific. Just turn your attention to your thoughts and emotions. Try to experience each one at a time. And then as these thoughts come into your head, try and let them go one by one. Try and let them go separately. And then what you'll do is you'll open your eyes. So once you open your eyes, you're going to pick an object from across the room. So open your eyes and then pick an object from across the room.
Bottle of water.
Yeah, bottle of water. So preferably I would like to use a football, but I don't have one. So it'd be relevant to your sport. Where am I going? Yeah, so pick the object, you pick the water bowl. So try and see as much as you can when you're staring at the bowl in your peripheral vision. So while you're looking at the bowl, try and take in everything around you. So this is like your broad focus now. And then we want to narrow your focus now to the single object. So try and blank out everything in the external picture and just focus on that bottle now. And then one last time, after focusing, you can expand your view and widen your perspective again and take in everything in that picture while you're still staring at that bottle. And that would be an example of a shift in attention. Little training, we've gone through that quite quick, but you could go through that numerous times and practice that. And that's just helping you concentrate on one specific thing. For example, the water bottle, but we could have used a football, so like relevant to your sport. And then we're opening up the picture like in a game, so we're thinking about defenders, your team, the ball, the field, where's the space, and then we're just focusing, for example, back on the ball or back on the defender. So that will help improve your concentration there. How do you feel with that? Do you feel concentrated, or did it not really work for you?
No, I feel like it would more. I would have to see if it worked more in a
Over
game.
time, yeah.
Yeah, or over time. But I would have to see if it actually worked in a game. But I feel like if I could get my whole focus on the whole field and the players and the ball together, then maybe
because that's what that's trying to do.
Yeah, that would increase my concentration.
Okay, cool.
Sometimes I just zone out to one thing. You get me, and I can't focus out onto everything. So maybe.
Yeah, definitely train that over time, and that can definitely help then. And then I've got one last training we can do for concentration, and that's learning to maintain focus. So again, we want to find a quiet place with no distractions. So this room is quite good for that. Again, we want to choose an object to focus on. So focus on the water bottle again if you want. But for this one, if you grab your water bottle. And then what you want to do is, we want it related to your sport really. So ideally we would have a football, but the water bottle will do now for demonstration purposes. So what you want to do with it is, if you close your eyes, hold the object in your hands, and then get a sense for how it would feel. Obviously we would want to do it with football, so I've got here the example of how it feels, the texture. So for example with the football we'd be thinking about the valve, the panels, try and feel how it feels, and focus your attention on this. And then if your thoughts start to wander from the object, just focus solely on the object, go back to the object, try and think just solely about that object. And what you would do is record how long you can remain focused on it. So as soon as your mind starts to wander, record how long you've managed to focus on it. So maybe it's 20 seconds, or maybe it was 2 minutes. And then over time you can train this. So once you can do this for 5 minutes, you can then start to practice with distractions around you, noises, and distractions, people walking in and out of the room, for example.
Yeah.
And that might be relevant to what you said earlier when you're playing. Someone could be walking their dog, for example, and that might distract you. So using that over time and developing it to include distractions and instructions could help you remain focused and improve your concentration. Do you feel that would be useful if we implemented that properly and over a longer duration of time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be alright. Keep my focus on one thing if I train that hard.
Which would help you in the game as well then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that's everything we've gone through. So we can go through further sessions in the future and keep developing these skills. But for now, that's everything covered.